Hey, it's Pass the Mic. My name is Annamarie MacLeod, and I'm with Perspective Theater, formerly Arabian Shakes. And we're celebrating our minority artists. We're taking a trip back through our 7-year catalog to look at some of the people we've worked with. We think you should know them and their work. So this week, we're passing the mic to... Yay! It's Maeron Yeshiwas. We're so glad you're here with us.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to see you.
Absolutely. It's so good to see you too. So we got to work together, actually. You're one of the few people I'm interviewing that I know a little. We worked together last fall, 2019, and Midsummer Night's Dream.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like forever ago.
It does. Long, long, long ago. But fond memories.
And I was trying to, and I couldn't remember. You played so many characters. You played Hermia.
Mm-hmm.
You played which one of the fairies?
Cobweb.
Cobweb, thank you. And
Peter Quince. So all across the gambit of characters, it was super fun.
Yeah, how was that to just be like, we'd like you to play a range?
Yeah, it was so crazy. So I had no idea that it was going to be kind of like this condensed version of a Midsummer. So when I first learned that we were going to do a six-person cast of a Midsummer, I was like, come again? And then when we found out that Lysander and Demetrius was going to be played by the same person, I remember Lindsay. I looked at Lindsay and Will was like, yeah, we can do that. It's been done. It'll be fine. So we're like, yes, we're going to trust you too. But I mean, really, really grateful to be able to play so many characters. So I think, and then going between the different characters, and I heard that they followed. So I felt like we did a great job.
As far as I know, people were laughing, and that is the only thing that matters to me.
And either way, at us, with us, I'll take it.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So, do you have like a favorite memory of that experience, or like a moment in time?
My favorite moments are always the mess ups. So I remember being backstage, and when you're first putting a show together and you're still trying to like get it into your mind. So I remember we would be backstage and we would look at each other and we would say, is it your scene? No, me first. No, you first. No, which scene is it? No, you go. So I think those are some of my favorite memories. And then of course we had the distinct honor of working with Beatrice, the dog. And I have to say that I've never seen such an effortlessly cool, captivating performance. So I think that is a memory that I will hold forever.
She and her understudy Rico just absolutely nailed it. So calm, so collected.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. The rest of us, because I'm the actor that usually has the list of scenes taped to the wall backstage, so I can like refer to. And there was no time, was there?
Yeah. Because you're mostly on stage, I think, for a lot of us, most of the time. So you just take a quick second, and then you're back on, and just to remember, who am I? What scene? What world am I in right now? But it was super fun. But I think it was those moments, kind of in between, in the process, were some of my favorite. But I think it worked. I think it really worked because it's like this fantastical, chaotic world. So us running around, I think, adds to the comedy of it.
So we've recently, and this has been in the works for, I don't know, at least a year, redone our mission statement, redone our name, and have moved away from the sort of focused Arabian Shakespeare Festival where we started to the name Perspective Theater Company. And thoughts, feelings?
Yeah, I love the name because I think it really gets to the heart of what theater is. You're watching characters that might have a different background than you from all different walks of life during different time periods. And hopefully you're getting a new perspective on those lives and maybe even a different perspective on yourself or the world that you live in or your community. So I think that that's what theater is about. So I love it. And I was also thinking, how much more like joy and we could all be like so much more grateful if we had more perspective or more chance for perspective in our lives too. So it's like, go team. You guys killed it.
But have you had a favorite project since then?
Ooh, since then. Well, funny you should mention this. So this summer I actually did a web series and most of it was shot socially distant. So it focuses on these group of college kids, and they're navigating their life and relationships in the time of coronavirus. So it took place in March, as all of this information and the global pandemic is really starting to hit us, at least here in the United States. So it was interesting. So a lot of these people are having conversations, through their phone or through computer screens too. So we were able to kind of have that set up, and then to have like another camera sent to us that was filming us talking to a certain device. We had green screens that were sent, so we did it with green screens too. So they did a rough cut of it, and it was pretty exciting that you can still make art even though a lot of us can't congregate together too. So that was a really interesting, challenging, and fun experience. So hopefully, I think it's in post-production now, so hopefully it'll be available for people to see. So I'll be posting about it. And they were telling us, like, we're gonna shoot a web series, and you don't have to be in the same space with each other. And they're gonna have directors and writers and designers sitting on Zoom directing us and watching us. And we all went, huh? How does that? Are you sure? And it worked out really well. So yeah, it's nice again that you can still create in this time when there are a lot of restrictions in place. Yeah. For good reasons, of course.
Yes, yes. So can you tell us what it's called?
Yes, it's called Long Distance.
Mm-hmm.
And it was made at the Academy of Art University. So it was a bunch of the students that go to school there. So hopefully you be able to find it on YouTube or maybe some other streaming platform.
Is there anything that you are looking forward to doing?
I think, my joys these days are very simple. So I'm really looking forward to a day when we can go see theater and perform theater. And of course, reconnecting with family and friends too. I think that's kind of the biggest thing. So I'm hopeful we're going to get there too. But yeah, more art. I'm excited to do that.
Definitely. But it sounds like I realize because then you have like a film background as well as a theater background. How was that transition to like Zoom acting for you?
It was still really challenging. I would say that most of my experience had been in theater. And then I think more recently, like in the last year or two, I've been doing a little bit more film. So it was hard because I'm in grad school. So we were, and it's for theater. And so then we were like, oh, everything's on Zoom now, which I guess is helpful for screen acting and film acting too. But it was hard because you got to know your frame. I like to be free. And, you can do all these great things, but if it's not in the frame, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Too. So it's a challenge, but it's been welcome challenge, I guess.
Good attitude.
I've really been working on my positive thinking during 2020.
Girl, me too, because otherwise
nothing.
I'm just blankets and wine.
So true.
How would you, okay, I'll just ask a question. How would you like to cast yourself? If you were the casting director looking at you, what would you put you as?
Oh, this one I have a hard time with because I want to do a lot of different things. I want to be everything. So like some of my dream roles are wild. Like I would love to take a crack at Petruchio in Taming of the Shrew. I would love to do the lizard creature in Seascape by Edward Albee. And I would love to be like in the television show Euphoria, which is like kids that are like experimenting with like drugs, and it talks about addiction and stuff, but it's like they go to parties and then they were like experimenting with sex and their parents and like all of this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I want to do all of that stuff. So I think ideally for me, I would run the whole gambit of characters and kind of twist traditional casting too. Like I'm really attracted to roles that have been traditionally male roles too. So I think that I think always provides an interesting take.
Absolutely. I think you'd be a super fun Petruchio.
I'm so ready.
Because sometimes I think he's a little doer.
Yeah.
And I think you have a lightness that would be like, we all know he's joking. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's joking.
Yeah. I think that I could do it.
It would be super fun.
It'd be really fun.
Who would be your Kate? Anybody in the world.
Yeah, anybody.
Who would be your Kate?
Oh, that's a great question. I didn't think about this.
I didn't write it down to send it to you.
Who would be any actor in the world?
We can come back.
Yeah, come back to me. I don't know.
We'll come back. If you think of something, let me know. Is there anything you'd like to share about how audiences who are missing theater so much can help art and artists right now?
Yeah, I think it's important to know that there is still art that's happening. It's in a different form, but I think there's lots of staged readings and scenes and filming that's still happening that's socially distant too. So if you're missing theater, just be on the lookout for the work that is being produced. So if you're interested in it, make sure that you're engaged and that you're sharing. And I know that there are a lot of theater companies and organizations that are doing funds for artists too. So if you can donate so that we have those artists around and that we can still have theater in the future too, when it is a safe time to do those things too. So engage and donate.
Is there something that you would like to see either for prospective theater company moving forward or in a larger scale for like Bay Area art in the future?
Yeah, I think we're going towards, and I would like to see still more inclusive theater kind of at every level. So that goes from like the plays that are being produced to the designers, to directors, to the actors. And I would love, I know that Perspective does this too, that more platforms for new artists and new works to be performed so that we get, again, more inclusive theater and voices that are being shown and that have platforms to share their stories too. So I think that's what people want. They want to hear from different people. So I think that's kind of what I would like to see. And I think that's the direction that we're going into.
I agree. And I think that's a good point that I think there has been this thinking that like, oh, if you don't do the Music Man, people won't show up. But I think you're right in saying that actually audiences want something different.
They do. Yeah. Because I think there's still a lot of theaters that will do the Music Man or will do kind of these traditional plays too. So I think the more theaters that can really push the envelope of what they think audiences want to see, one, I think they'll be surprised. And I think that they'll also kind of engage a whole new viewership of audiences that maybe don't traditionally come to the theater, but that are looking for that type of experience, that type of, we talk a lot about representation and that does matter too. So I think it kind of happens on both sides.
Is there another next project that's kind of on the horizons? Anything that's bubbling around?
I am working on another web series that I'm writing, loosely based on my life. It's still in the creation part of it, but I'm working on my website right now, so I'm hoping to get that launched and get a concept trailer out. And then after that, hopefully uploading scenes for people to see. But as you can imagine, it kind of follows the story of this young woman that's a budding actor. She works in museums. She has a great family and great friends, but she's kind of feeling this disconnect of who she is right now and who she wants to be. So as she journeys to be more bold and unapologetic in every aspect of her life, whether it's her intimate relationships, her family, her friends, her work, she really starts to learn more about what is these things that are holding me back. And so you delve more into her relationship with her parents, her struggles with her identity. What does it mean to be Ethiopian and Black and American against kind of these bigger societal backdrops of these intersections of race, sex, and class in America. It's a comedy.
Good.
But I'm really excited about that. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And I'll share more details as I have them.
That'll be great. I'm assuming you are playing yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
It's like, I would like to write it. I would like to be in it. I would like to direct some of it. Who knows? Why not also?
Why not? Absolutely. Oh, that's exciting. What is your favorite breakfast?
Oh, I am a person that likes to have it all. So I would like to have an eggs Benedict, like breakfast potatoes, and then I would also like a pancake. Savory and sweet.
I can't fault you because I always try to go halvesies with it. You get that, I'll get this, and we'll switch.
That's how you got to do it. Why would you sell yourself short?
I love it. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Have it all. Do you have a favorite sound?
You know, I would say I like sounds that are comforting. So, you know, raindrops or like wind rustling or like trees or leaves or something, or sounds that automatically kind of give me some peace and comfort too. So I would say that those are my favorite sounds.
Soothing nature.
Yeah, soothing nature. There we go.
On days when you're feeling your absolute best, do you have a song playing in your head?
Oh. So I grew up in a house where we listened to a ton of Motown when I was growing up. So I think anything that is like Aretha Franklin or like Marvin Gaye or the Four Tops really gets me going and feeling great too. So I think any of those songs.
That's legitimate. That's a good answer. If you weren't an actor, what would you do? Not like what would you do, but like what job would you have? Sorry.
So what I work in also is I work in museums. So I do education in museums. So I'd probably be doing more of that, like exhibit curation, exhibit design also. And part of that too, I usually work in biological museums. So we kind of focus on like wildlife conservation and sustainability. So on the other side of that, I think that I would also like to be a wildlife conservationist. So just like you're out in these amazing places with really high biodiversity and you're studying systems and the animals and how can we conserve and take care of the planet that we live in more.
Oh, so right after you win your Tony and your Oscar, and you've got like offers coming in all over, what's the very next project that you do?
So I've always had this dream of having this huge warehouse that's a theater, and that you have like in each corner a play that's going on, and the audience is actually moving from play to play to play. And they could be short plays, new works, or like different scenes, and they're just kind of running on loop. And the actors are interacting, of course, with their partners, but also with the audience that they see too. So I think some kind of experimental theater like that is what I'm going to do.
That sounds like fun. And San Francisco sounds like kind of a good place to put that. I have one more question for you. Okay. Is there a costume that you have worn that you have loved beyond all others?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I was in a production, this was a while ago, of A Raisin in the Sun. And I played Mrs. Johnson, who is in some versions, but not in some other versions too. So she is this older, nosy neighbor that's super sassy. So I got to play her. And got to do all of the makeup and the wig and like cat glasses. And of course, this is like the 1950s Southside Chicago. So it's probably still to date one of my favorite characters in costume.
You're good at voices though.
I'm interested in language and like voices, so.
No, I think that's something we should highlight because, I mean, obviously you had different characters and voices in Midsummer because we were all trying to pull things.
Yeah.
But then we did a little short. I was in the same short you were, but you had this like AI, soothing, calming AI voice. And it was so good because it sounded like you were about to laugh at me the whole time. And I was like, that's what I think of those robot voices.
So like it's pleasant, but so condescending at the same
So
time.
condescending. And then you flipped around and did this Southern doctor, and I have been talking to myself in my head in that voice because it's really fun to do.
It's so fun. Probably the Southern is one of my favorite dialects to do. And so we were talking about how kind of that juxtaposition of characters would kind of be interesting too. So yeah, that was really fun to do.
It was great. And I think the way they did it, I don't know that, like, if you were like someone's mom tuning in, I don't know that they knew you were the same person.
Oh, that's awesome.
You couldn't see your face really for the AI voice. And then you did see the doctor. And so I feel like,
they're like, no way.
I don't think so. Yeah.
That was awesome. That was super fun to do. Yeah, but I do like to experiment with different voices, I guess you could.
Thank you so much for talking to me and talking to Perspective Theater. I'm so glad you could take the time to do this. And I'm so glad that not only you got to work with us, but I got to work with you because you were such a delight to work with, so creative, so enthusiastic, so much fun. We had our little moments because I was Bottom and you were Peter Quince. So we often kind of, well, aside from the Helena Hermia thing, which also, we spent the whole play not liking each other, but
we were frenemies. It was fine.
That puts you in a special place in my heart. So thank you so much. And we will eagerly await news of web series. Yeah. And we'll get links for all those things and keep in touch. And I hope you stay safe and stay busy and don't go crazy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's been, a pleasure to talk to you and really to work with the company. You guys are doing amazing things, and I think really pushing theater forward. So I'm really happy to be included in the family. So thanks for having me. Okay, bye.
Bye.